In the gleaming assembly hall of the Galactic Council, tension hung thick as starship armor. Representatives from across the known universe watched in hushed silence as Thalrix, the Zytherian ambassador, ascended the platform. His gaze swept over the gathered multitude, settling with a steely glint on the human delegation. "Esteemed members of this council," Thalrix began, his voice booming through the hall, "the time has come for Earth to acknowledge the supremacy of the Zytherian Empire. Submit to our governance, or face the consequences of your defiance." Jack, a middle-aged human linguist with a knack for alien dialects, whispered urgently to his colleague, Michael, a seasoned diplomat. "They can't seriously expect us to agree to this without any resistance." Michael nodded, his expression grim. "We need a plan, and fast. This isn't just a threat, it's an ultimatum." As the assembly broke into murmurs and whispers, another human, Lucas, a strategic analyst, leaned in. "We need to find out why they're making this move now. There's something off here." Jack's eyes narrowed in thought. "I agree." I caught a few inconsistencies in Thalrix's speech patterns. "Something's amiss." "Let's dig deeper," Michael suggested. "Jack, use your contacts." "Lucas, start pulling data on recent Zytherian movements." The men nodded, each set on their tasks as the council adjourned in chaos. Back at their quarters, Jack accessed a secure communication line. "Serena, it's Jack. I need your help." The line crackled, and then a calm, feminine voice responded. "Jack, I was wondering when you would call. Things are escalating, aren't they?" "Indeed, they are. The Zytherians just threatened Earth with destruction unless we surrender. I have a feeling you might know why they're bluffing." There was a pause before Serena, a defector from the Zytherian Intelligence Service, answered. "Yes, there's a division among the Empire. Many of us believe it's wrong to attack Earth. I can provide evidence, but it's risky." "Meet me at the neutral station on Crillian 5, Jack said, determination lacing his tone. "We'll be there in 3 days." "Understood," Serena replied. "I'll be ready." Jack relayed the plan to Michael and Lucas. "We have a lead. It's time to expose the cracks in their armor." Michael looked resolute. "We'll stand with you, Jack. Humanity must show that we're not to be trifled with." Lucas chimed in, pulling up star maps and schedules on his tablet. "I've arranged for a covert ship. We'll be ghosts." The 3 men worked late into the night, poring over every scrap of information, coordinating their efforts with precision. Their mission was clear: gather the necessary evidence from Serena and use it to fracture the Zytherian front. As dawn broke over the capital of Earth, the men boarded their ship, the resolve in their hearts as steadfast as the stars guiding them through the cosmos. Jack looked back once, knowing the weight of humanity's future rested on their shoulders. They were not just fighting for survival now, they were fighting for the very soul of humanity. Chapter 2. A Mysterious Ally. The spaceport at Crillian 5 buzzed with activity, a hub for traders, travelers, and diplomats from across the galaxy. As Jack, Michael, and Lucas navigated through the crowds, they blended in with a diverse throng, their attention fixed on the upcoming clandestine meeting. "Keep your eyes sharp, and trust no one," Michael muttered as they moved towards the less frequented docks where Serena had agreed to meet. Lucas, always the analyst, kept checking his device, ensuring their path was clear of surveillance. "We're still under the radar. No unusual activity so far." At Dock 42, a figure cloaked in a nondescript robe waited in the shadows. As they approached, the figure stepped forward, lowering her hood. Serena's eyes, a striking shade of silver, met Jack's. "It's risky for me to be here. The Empire has spies everywhere." Jack nodded, appreciating the danger. "Thank you for coming," Serena. Let's find somewhere more private. Follow us. They quickly moved to a rented room in the nearby quarters, secure from prying eyes and ears. Once inside, Serena produced a data chip. This contains communications between high-ranking officials in the Empire. They reveal the divisions you suspected. Some of us are strongly opposed to the war with humans. Lucas took the chip, connecting it to his tablet. As the data streamed in, his eyes widened. This could change everything. We need to analyze this thoroughly. Michael paced the room, deep in thought. We'll need to get this information out. But it has to be timed perfectly to maximize its impact. Jack turned to Serena. Your bravery could very well save many lives. How can we protect you in all this? Serena smiled faintly. Don't worry about me. I've been covering my tracks for years. Let's focus on using this information to prevent a war. As they pored over the data, planning their next moves, their dynamic evolved from mere allies to a cohesive unit bonded by a common goal. Jack handled the linguistic decryption, Michael strategized their public relations battle, and Lucas handled logistics and data management. Look at this, Jack pointed out on the screen. There's a planned assembly of the Galactic Council next week. It could be the perfect time to release the information. Michael agreed. We'll need to prepare a presentation. Something undeniable. Lucas, can you put together the visuals? Lucas nodded, already drafting ideas. I'll create something compelling. This data speaks volumes. They worked into the night, each man dedicated to his part of the mission. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of tension and determination, knowing the stakes were higher than ever. Serena, watching the trio work, felt a surge of admiration. You humans are quite remarkable. You find light even in the darkest times. Jack looked up, meeting her gaze. We have to. It's not just about surviving. It's about living according to our principles. As the first light of dawn crept into the room, they finalized their plan. With the data ready and their strategy set, they prepared to shake the foundations of the galaxy. The unity and mutual respect they shared fortified their resolve to stand up against the might of the Zytherian Empire. Chapter 3. Gathering Evidence. Jack, Michael, and Lucas, along with their alien ally Serena, set their course to the distant trading planet of Zelthoria, known for its archives and information brokers. Their ship hummed quietly through the cosmos, a beacon of their growing solidarity and purpose. As they approached the planet, Lucas briefed the team. Zelthoria's archives are massive. We can find additional data there to corroborate what Serena has given us. Michael nodded, adjusting the straps of his bag. Let's split up once we land. Jack, you and I can handle the archives. Lucas, you take Serena and Scout for any local intel that might support our cause. The bustling spaceport of Zelthoria was a blend of cultures and species, each going about their business with an urgency typical of such trade hubs. The team split as planned, with Michael and Jack heading toward the towering archives building. Inside, Jack approached the archivist, a thin, spectacled being named Grix. We're looking for any transmissions or documents related to the Zytherian Empire's military movements. Anything out of the ordinary. Grix, intrigued by the request, tapped into the archive's database. This might take some time. The Empire's activities have always been secretive, but I'll see what I can pull up. Meanwhile, Lucas and Serena walked through the market, their eyes and ears open. Lucas stopped a merchant, showing him a discreet image of a Zytherian official. Have you seen this individual? Might have been around asking questions or making deals. The merchant glanced around nervously before leaning in. Yes, saw them a few weeks back. They were meeting with some shady types. Didn't look right to me. Serena recorded this tidbit. This is good. Adds another layer to our evidence. Back at the archives, Jack and Michael had success. Grix handed them a stack of documents. Found these. Looks like there were coded messages sent through commercial channels. Odd for military communications. Jack grinned. Perfect. This is exactly what we need. The team reconvened at a local eatery, laying out their findings on a digital map. Michael connected the dots between the merchant's testimony and the archive's data. It all points to a hidden agenda. The Empire's trying to move quietly, avoiding the usual channels. Lucas updated their collective document, a growing dossier of the Empire's inconsistencies. With this, we can start to draft our presentation. It's compelling evidence that there's a significant faction within the Empire that's not on board with their leadership's decisions. Serena, reviewing the document, added, "We should also prepare for how the Zytherians might react. They won't take kindly to being exposed." Michael acknowledged the risk with a determined look. "We knew this wouldn't be easy. But it's about more than just exposing them. It's about standing up for what's right." The group agreed to move forward, each feeling the weight of their mission. As they left Zelthoria, their spirits were buoyed by the knowledge they had gained and the alliance they had strengthened. They were not just a team anymore. They were a force to be reckoned with, ready to challenge the might of an empire with the power of the truth. Chapter 4. Close Encounters. After leaving Zelthoria, the team's next destination was the remote outpost of Virenia, a small settlement on the edge of neutral space where they could lay low and refine their strategy. The outpost, surrounded by the cold darkness of space, provided a quiet respite from their intense mission. As their ship docked, Jack looked out at the star-speckled blackness. "This place might be just what we need to get everything in order," he mused, turning to his comrades. Michael, always the planner, nodded in agreement. "Let's set up in the north wing of the station. It's less frequented and should give us the privacy we need." Once settled in, Lucas began to set up a secure communication line back to Earth. "I'll make sure no one can trace this back to us. We need an update from HQ without any risks." While Lucas worked on the tech, Jack and Michael spread out the documents and digital files across a large table, each piece of evidence a part of the larger puzzle they were desperately trying to solve. Serena, who had been unusually quiet, finally spoke up. "You know, there's something to be said about humans. You're incredibly thorough when you set your minds to something." Jack smiled at her. "We have to be. There's a lot at stake." As they worked, the close quarters brought an unexpected intimacy among them, particularly between Jack and Serena. Their collaboration had deepened their respect and affection for each other, feelings that were becoming hard to ignore. That evening, as the outpost's artificial night began to fall, Michael and Lucas decided to check the perimeter, giving Jack and Serena some time alone. Serena turned to Jack, her gaze softening. "Jack, I've never met anyone quite like you. You make me feel hopeful about the future." Jack took a step closer, drawn to her honesty and strength. "Serena, I feel the same. There's something between us, isn't there?" Without another word, their mutual understanding blossomed into a tender kiss, their first, filled with the promise of what could be. Their hands explored each other gently, affirming their connection not just as allies but as something more profound. As they pulled away, Jack whispered, "I didn't expect to find this. Not here, not now." Serena smiled, her touch lingering. "Neither did I, but I'm glad we did." The next morning, Jack and Serena returned to their tasks rejuvenated, their bond a new source of strength. Michael and Lucas noticed the subtle change but said nothing, focusing instead on their preparations. Lucas broke the silence. "All right, team, Let's finalize this presentation. We've got everything we need to make a strong case. As they gathered around, Michael laid out the strategy. We present our findings first to the sympathetic members of the Galactic Council. We need allies when we go public. Jack added, and timing is crucial. We need the maximum impact. Serena, your insights into when the Council is most receptive would be invaluable here. Serena nodded, already pulling up data on her device. I can predict the Council's cycles. We'll aim for maximum exposure. The team worked with a new synergy, their strategies sharper and their resolve firmer. Each member played their part flawlessly, their tasks interwoven with the precision of a well-oiled machine. As they concluded their preparations, the outpost seemed less like a cold way station and more like a beacon in their journey. They were ready to bring their truth to light, backed by undeniable evidence and a unity that had grown stronger under the stars of Virenia. Chapter 5. The Leak. With their presentation polished and their strategy set, the team decided it was time to share their findings with the galaxy. Their first step was to ensure the information reached every corner of the civilized worlds. To achieve this, they sought out a well-connected journalist known for his integrity and reach within the Galactic News Network. His name was Torin, and he agreed to meet at a discreet location on the trading station of Galex. As they approached the designated meeting spot, Michael checked their surroundings. We need to be careful. If the Zytherians catch wind of what we're doing, they won't hesitate to stop us. Lucas nodded, his eyes scanning the crowd. I've got our exit routes planned. We won't get boxed in. Torin, a tall, broad-shouldered figure with keen eyes, greeted them warmly yet with a professional distance. I understand you have something of significant importance. I'm here to listen. Jack led the introduction, handing over a secured data pad. What we are about to show you could alter the course of intergalactic relations. It's proof of deep divisions within the Zytherian Empire, divisions about their stance on humanity. Torin browsed through the documents and recordings briefly, his professional curiosity piqued. This is explosive. If what you're saying holds up, it could indeed change everything. Serena stepped forward, her voice steady. We have verified everything. Plus, I'm a defector. My testimony alone could lend a lot of weight to these findings. Torin nodded, understanding the risks involved. I'll need to verify the sources and protect my channels. But I can broadcast this across the network during the prime cycle, when it will reach the most viewers. Michael interjected, we need a coordinated release. Simultaneously across all platforms. Can you manage that? I can, Torin confirmed, tapping on his device. I have contacts who owe me favors. We'll make it a synchronized release. Lucas chimed in, setting up his tablet. Let's prepare a backup of all data. We'll distribute copies to secure locations. If they shut down one, others will continue the broadcast. As they worked out the details, the atmosphere was tense but hopeful. They were on the verge of exposing a major galactic scandal, and every step had to be meticulously planned. Jack looked at each of his team members, his gaze lingering on Serena. Once this goes live, there's no turning back. Are we all ready for what comes next? Each nodded, their determination clear. Serena, with a slight smile, added, for truth and clarity, always. With Torin's assurance, they finalized their plans. The broadcast will go live in 2 days' time. I'll make sure it's during the Galactic Council session. It'll cause an immediate uproar. Perfect, Michael said. We'll be watching and ready to follow up with any responses or demands for peace talks. The team left the meeting with Torin, feeling like they had just lit the fuse to a significant shift in the galactic order. As they returned to their ship, Their thoughts were with the countless lives that could be affected by their actions. They were not just a team anymore. They were the catalysts for change, united by a cause that transcended their individual histories. Chapter 6. Diplomatic Moves. The day of the broadcast arrived with a palpable tension that could be felt across the entire ship as Jack, Michael, Lucas, and Serena prepared to watch the effects of their efforts unfold in real time. They gathered in the main viewing area, where several screens displayed different channels of the Galactic News Network. "Are we ready for this?" Jack asked, looking around at his team, each member bracing for the potential fallout. "We are," Michael replied, his voice steady. "It's out of our hands now. Tauren's taking care of the broadcast. Let's hope the galaxy is ready for the truth." As the appointed time approached, Lucas checked their communications setup. "All systems are green. We'll be able to monitor reactions across the network instantaneously." Serena, standing beside Jack, took a deep breath. After today, things might never be the same again. The screens flickered momentarily as the broadcast began. Tauren appeared, his presence commanding attention. "Today, we bring to light a truth that could reshape our understanding of the Zytherian Empire's intentions towards humanity and its own people." The documents and recordings Jack and his team had gathered were displayed, showing high-ranking Zytherians expressing doubts about the war with humans and the moral conflicts within their ranks. As the broadcast echoed across the galaxy, messages began flooding in from various planets and stations. Some expressed shock, others outrage, but all were glued to the revelations being uncovered. Michael turned to the team. "We need to move quickly. Let's reach out to our contacts in the Galactic Council. It's time to push for a diplomatic resolution." Jack nodded, already dialing in the coordinates for their next move. Lucas set a course for the Council's headquarters. "We need to be there when they decide how to respond." As their ship made its way to the Council, the team drafted a formal statement to present. Lucas outlined their approach. "We advocate for peace and dialogue. The Empire must be held accountable, but we must also foster an environment where reform is possible." Upon arrival, the atmosphere was charged. The Council was in an emergency session, the chambers filled with a cacophony of voices as representatives debated the broadcast's implications. Jack and his team were granted an audience, thanks to their now notable role in the revelations. As they entered the chambers, all eyes turned towards them. Michael spoke first, his voice echoing in the hall. "Esteemed members of the Council, we stand before you as representatives of humanity and allies from within the Zytherian ranks who seek peace. The evidence we have uncovered speaks of significant dissent within the Empire concerning their aggressive policies towards humans and their own people." A senior counselor, a venerable figure from the Andromedan system, responded. "Your findings have prompted us to reconsider our stance on the Zytherian conflict. We invite the Zytherian ambassadors to respond." A tense silence filled the room as the Zytherian delegation, caught off guard but trying to maintain their composure, stepped forward. We must take these revelations back to our leaders. We request a recess to deliberate on these matters." Jack interjected. "We urge the Council to consider a ceasefire in the meantime. This is a chance for peace, a moment to reflect not on our differences, but on our common desire for stability and harmony." The Council agreed to a temporary ceasefire and announced a period of deliberation. Jack and his team exited the chambers, their hearts heavy with the weight of their task, but uplifted by the possibility of change. As they regrouped, Lucas looked at his companions. "We've started something big today. Let's hope it leads to the peace we're striving for." With the galaxy watching, the team prepared for the next phase of their mission, knowing their actions had ignited a potential turning point in interstellar relations. Chapter 7. The Empire's Concession. The days following the emergency session of the Galactic Council were fraught with tension and anticipation. Jack, Michael, Lucas, and Serena remained on standby, closely monitoring the developments. The Zytherian Empire was in turmoil, grappling with the internal discord revealed by the leaks and the unexpected push for a ceasefire. In their temporary quarters near the Council headquarters, the team gathered to discuss their next moves. Jack reviewed the latest reports. The Zytherians are feeling the pressure. There are signs of division even among their top ranks. Michael, leaning over the console, added, "It's exactly what we needed. The more they show uncertainty, the stronger our position for negotiating a lasting peace." Lucas chimed in, his eyes on a live feed from a Zytherian news outlet. "Look at this. The Zytherian public is starting to question their leaders' motives. There's talk of protests." Serena, who had been liaising with her contacts within the Empire, nodded. "My sources confirm that. There's a growing movement against the war policy. We might see a shift in governance if this continues." The next day, the council reconvened, and the team was once again in the chambers, awaiting the Zytherian response. The atmosphere was charged, every representative keenly aware of the historical significance of the moment. The Zytherian ambassador, Thalrix, approached the podium, his expression markedly different from the last time he stood there. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council and fellow beings of the galaxy," he began, his voice steady but softer than before, "the revelations brought forth have ignited a crucial introspection within our empire. We recognize the need for change." Jack exchanged a look with his team, a silent acknowledgement of their impact. Thalrix continued, "We are here to declare that the Zytherian Empire is willing to enter into peace talks with Earth and cease all hostile actions effective immediately. We ask for mercy and understanding as we navigate this path towards reconciliation." A murmur went through the crowd, the significance of the Empire's statement not lost on anyone. Michael leaned over to whisper to Jack, "It's more than we hoped for." Jack nodded, his attention fixed on Thalrix. "Now we see if they follow through." The senior counselor from the Andromedan system addressed the assembly. "This is a promising start. We will facilitate the peace talks and oversee the process to ensure transparency and fairness." As the session adjourned, the team felt a mix of relief and cautious optimism. They had achieved a significant victory, but the road ahead would require careful navigation. Back at their quarters, Lucas pulled up the strategy document on his screen. "We need to outline our terms for the peace talks. It's crucial we maintain the upper hand." Serena, thoughtful, added, "We should also keep an open channel with the dissenters within the Empire. They'll be essential for ensuring the reforms are implemented." The team spent the next several hours drafting their proposal for the peace talks, considering every possible angle and implication. Their collaboration was seamless, each member contributing their expertise. As night fell, Jack stepped away from the table, stretching his tired muscles. He looked out the window at the stars, reflecting on their journey. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Michael joined him, clapping him on the back. "We have. And whatever happens next, we've changed the galaxy for the better." With the peace talks scheduled and the galaxy watching, Jack, Michael, Lucas, and Serena prepared to continue their work, driven by a shared vision of peace and unity. They knew the real work was just beginning, but they were ready to face whatever challenges came their way. Chapter 8. A New Dawn. The signing of the peace treaty was to be held at the Central Assembly of the Galactic Council, an event that would be broadcast across countless worlds. As the day arrived, Jack, Michael, Lucas, and Serena made their way to the council chambers, each aware of the gravity of the moment. In the bustling corridors of the council headquarters, diplomats and representatives from various planets exchanged whispers and nods, the air thick with anticipation. The team found their seats, close to the front, with a clear view of the podium where history would be made. Michael leaned over to Jack, his voice low. "Can you believe we're actually here, about to witness this?" Jack smiled, a sense of accomplishment mingling with his nerves. "It's surreal. But we did it together." As they settled in, Lucas checked his devices one last time, ensuring their communications were secure. "Everything's set. After today, it'll be a whole new galaxy." Serena looked around, her expression thoughtful. "It's more peaceful than I imagined it could be, given everything." The lights dimmed slightly, and the senior counselor took the stage, his presence commanding silence. "Today, we mark a new beginning for interstellar relations. We are here to witness the signing of a peace treaty between Earth and the Zytherian Empire, a testament to the power of diplomacy and the unyielding spirit of those who seek harmony." Thalrix, the Zytherian ambassador, joined the counselor on stage, followed by Earth's lead diplomat, a seasoned statesman named Ambassador Lee. The documents were laid out, a tangible symbol of the peace to be sealed. As Ambassador Lee spoke, his words resonated through the chamber. "This treaty not only ends a conflict, but also opens up avenues for cooperation and mutual growth. We extend our gratitude to those who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this possible." Thalrix, his demeanor changed from their first encounter, added, "The Empire is committed to upholding the terms of this treaty and building a relationship based on respect and understanding. We look forward to a prosperous future together." The documents were signed amid flashes of cameras and a round of applause that echoed like a wave through the hall. Jack and his team clapped, their hearts full, their minds already turning to the future. After the ceremony, the team gathered for a private celebration. Lucas raised his glass first. "To peace, and to all of us, who didn't just watch history happen but helped shape it." Michael joined in, "To new beginnings and to the challenges and opportunities they bring." Serena smiled, her eyes meeting Jack's. "To unity, and to unexpected friendships that change the course of our lives." Jack, feeling the weight of their journey, concluded, "And to us, a team that became more like a family. Whatever comes next, we face it together." The celebration continued into the evening, laughter and stories filling the room, a stark contrast to the tension and uncertainty that had brought them all together. They discussed future plans, both personal and professional, aware that their roles in this new era were just beginning. As the night wound down, Jack stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the cityscape, the stars overhead bright and clear. The galaxy felt different tonight, full of potential and promise. Michael joined him, his voice contemplative. "It's a new dawn, isn't it?" Jack nodded, his eyes on the horizon. "Yes, it is. And it's ours to shape." With the peace treaty signed and a new chapter unfolding before them, Jack, Michael, Lucas, and Serena were not just witnesses to change but active participants in the making of a new, united galaxy. The challenges ahead were many, but they were ready, bolstered by their successes and the bonds they had forged. The future was unwritten, and it was theirs to define.